We're good.
Okay, I'm calling to order the Parks and Community Services meeting of Thursday, June 16th. And first we have approval of minutes, and we have meeting minutes for May 9th and May 19th. May 9th was just the CFR adventure. And then May 19th was a regular meeting.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 9th.
Betty's got a question.
Oh, Betty, sorry.
On May 9th, it says that I was excused, but I was actually on Zoom.
No, that's the day we went to the ECFR.
Oh,
And-
May 9th was, okay.
Right, yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Amy is getting on right now.
Okay.
So should we wait?
Good morning, Amy. Welcome to the committee.
Good morning. Thank you.
So we're just getting started with the approval of the minutes, and we have a motion on the floor. A second?
And I'll second
Okay.
motion for approval of.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then we have the May 19th regular meeting.
I found quite a few mistakes on May 19th.
Okay, go ahead and go over them.
Okay, line 2, it says things to hone in.
Can you tell us what page?
Oh, I'm sorry, page 1. Sorry, I'm going to start on page 1.
Okay,
Okay, so line 2, where it says heritage trees, you are at a good to start with native trees. And I think that's incorrect. I think he meant to say you are good to start with
Right.
native trees. Okay, and then on the second, the line after that, line 3, where it says in the middle, close to the end, it says special classifications. It should say classification without the S.
okay,
And then if you go on down to where it says once, which is about
Right.
halfway down, and it says once you identify name and parade, you can do more harm than good. I'm
Oh,
not
so
sure.
maybe,
I think it was supposed to be location.
once
Okay,
you identify.
once you identify comma, because I think he was saying if people parade through,
okay,
Oh, maybe it was prayed through.
Once you,
once you identify and name them, sometimes people parade,
okay,
do more harm than good.
so once you identify and name them, people tend to parade? No, I don't know. What did you say, Stacy?
Did you identify?
I will, I learned just last week that I can check there's a text through YouTube, I can
Right,
I can pull up the text portion,
uh-huh,
so I can look and see exactly what he said
okay,
and change it to exactly what he said.
okay. And we can still approve them,
Yeah, I'll look while we're talking.
okay. Others, Betty?
yes, down a couple of more sentences down where it starts with where. If you go in, it says etc. with a information. It should just say with information.
Okay,
I see that.
And then if you go down to the second to the bottom line, starting with spend, the very last word should be start instead of smart.
okay,
Okay, then if you go on to the next page, you can tell I have COVID and nothing else to do. Sorry. Okay, so the second sentence where it says Mont noted, and then it should say we also need.
oh, just stick a we after noted.
Yes.
Okay.
And then if you go down a few more sentences, it starts with now,
Mhm.
and then it says row trees, then, and it should say we will. we.
Okay,
Then you go down to down to the B section where the second paragraph. If you go all the way to the end, it says off at less surely. I was just going to capitalize less.
okay,
And then if you go down a few more sentences where it starts with history, and it talks about planting trees with the academy. I think academy should be capitalized.
Is that the same sentence?
Well, it's capitalized later on. When we talk about it later, it's capitalized. So I just thought we should be consistent.
But I mean, is it in the same paragraph?
So fourth line down in that second paragraph.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Fourth line down. And then if you keep on going down a few more sentences, it starts with noted regarding Whale Park. Our concrete guy, it should say is on vacation. Okay, the next page. We're on community grants. If you go way down to where CCA, and then it talks about, it starts with NOP. At the end of the sentence, it says whether or not, and then it says we should say we are going to hold. We should add we are.
okay,
If you go on down a few more sentences, it starts with that's. If you move in to where it says opportunity to fill the info if they chose. So I said it should say fill in the info if they choose.
okay,
Going down to the second to the last sentence, break, it starts with break. If you go into middle, it says year because, and it should say of the new format, and then it should say we have.
okay,
And the last sentence is in the middle, it says, I say give them a break.
okay,
Okay, then on the next page, we're talking about 12 days. The second sentence after NOP, and then the second sentence is not. At the very end, it should say individual people of the committee.
okay,
And then on the committee, on the next line, committee, you should go into where it says individual activity.
okay,
Okay, and then at the end of that sentence, it should say for use, for responsible for to use, I don't
For
know.
use in future, for use in future years.
Yeah, in future years. It should say in there. And one more on the good to the order. It starts with NOP. Broom busters at, and it just should have less, should be capitalized.
okay.
All right, thank you guys.
Uh-huh. Any other revisions?
That's it.
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, accept the minutes as,
A second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
I,
Okay, motion pass. Thank you. Next, we have public comment. Again? And is there anybody online?
There is not,
Um,
just the committee members are on.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, Jen.
So I'm Jan Siebert, Foreman, PO Box 778, Cannon Beach. I just have a question, and that is why Did city staff recently change their recommendations to the Park Committee for the beginning of the Heritage Tree Program to only include public right-of-way trees rather than including trees on any public land within our city limits? For example, I remember her recommending the Sitka spruces in West Shirley Park just months ago for the possible first trees to be nominated. So I'm just trying to understand why that changed and how it changed. And I don't know if it's decided yet, but
It's not decided.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so next we have the monthly state of the parks report.
Good morning.
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 I was gone for a couple of weeks back east for my nephew's wedding. Most of what we're doing now, considering the amount of rainfall we have, is trying to keep up with landscape maintenance, weed eaters, 6 hours a day, and mowers. We'll be caught up pretty soon. As far as the highlights of the month, the Whale Park replacement stairs, sidewalk, and the slab up on top are all done. Daryl did a good job. It looks just like it did before. One tennis court has been striped for pickleball, and 2 pickleball nets have been deployed to that court. Waiting for the other court to be done, at which time the other 2 nets will go out. The city's flower baskets have been installed, and we have a water truck hooked up, and we're taking care of those.
And they are beautiful.
They should get more beautiful unless they get too much rain and wind. It's funny, they don't like too much rain. We've begun the windscreen installation. It's a matter of getting 3 or 4 guys together, and I'm kind of having a hard time doing that. The street department is on the beach below the S curves this morning, cleaning all the drains that de-water that hillside. If you remember this is not a park subject. The S curve slid every couple of years, for years and years. And we fixed it by de-watering the hill, draining the hillside from natural flows. Anyway, they're down there now cleaning out those drains, which is a big deal. So the windscreens aren't going to be done today.
I think we'll be okay.
Well, different feelings about the windscreens in town, but I appreciate your sentiment, Barb. A new pad for the miniature pocket park on Larch Street has been poured. We should be adding a new bench there next week. And that's a piece of city property between the waves and webs on the ocean front. So it's a pocket park. It's a pocket park of less than 100 square.
Nice place for a bench.
Yeah.
We'll have a nice bench.
Oh, and on
Yeah.
Sunday, I have to go out to the sewer plant back and forth to take care of the sewer routine on Sundays. And so it's in the morning, and it's a good time to kind of eyeball the purple martins, and I counted 38
Wow.
on Sunday. Wow. Which is pretty cool.
Fantastic.
The second house couldn't have come a moment, doing that.
I'm amazed that the second house,
Build up.
so, yeah, I mean, they're normally really tentative with new.
The first house took about 2 years for anybody to show up, and then there was just a couple of them.
38 of them.
Yeah, but once the first colony was established, right, then they all can, then we could put up 5 more, but I don't want
How many? Kirk, real quick, where is this new pocket park? I didn't know.
It's on Larch Street, between Larch and take a north of Second. Larch Street is
Okay, thank you.
might appear to you as a driveway down to Webb's Motel. It splits the Waves property in half. Halfway down on the left is a little wedge of public city-owned property that we weren't aware of until recently, and we were lobbied to put in a bench and a garbage can. The ultimate pocket park is a garbage can and a bench.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay, any questions for Kirk?
I have a question on where the ponds are. There's some sludge that seems to appear on the driveway or the parking lot. And I just wonder where that comes from because it seems to increase because I walk along there quite a bit.
Specifically, it's on Second Street,
Yeah, on the,
street parking lot.
yes.
So right at
The
the,
ponds by the third unit. I mean, there's just this sludge that is always there and it just increased quite a bit the last few days.
where the gravel trail goes up to the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Trevor could address that. I could try.
What's the location again?
It's right on the parking lot by the third lagoon unit.
Gravel parking lot.
No,
No,
west end of the second half of the paved parking lot, right by the bike rack. Right where we built a gravel walkway up to the paved trail, very corner, right across from the.
Where it always is wet.
Yes, and this is where, if you remember, Troy and those guys did a really big job to.
Rearmoring and
Right, and I think the question might be, is that project failing?
I'll have to go take a look at it.
yeah, I mean, there's just, usually it is always wet, but there's just quite a bit more sludge. I mean, it's brown. I mean, I don't let my dog walk through it because it looks pretty nasty and I can't tell where it's coming from. If there's a leak in the
It's pretty easy.
pond,
For guys to test that water, and then we might have to address.
there was quite a large algae bloom in that tank. And I sent an email to one of the public works guys, just,
I don't think the algae is probably unrelated, but
yeah.
we have had a little leaking problem in that pond in the past, and
Well, that's where I kind of determined that must be where it's coming from.
I'll have the
Kind
wastewater.
of starts and then it drains in a little,
I'll have the wastewater guys look at it.
Marty could take a look and figure it out, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that fix did work pretty good, but I actually noticed that myself.
okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? Thank you, Kirk.
Welcome.
Okay, then next on the agenda, we have right-of-way tree removals and we have none, right? So that's always a nice
Good.
thing. And next item on the agenda is the Heritage Trees Program. And I think the goal today is to get the criteria established and the app established and get ready for council approval so that we can start the official Heritage Tree Program. And remember, we're going to start slow and simple and expand it throughout the years. So in your packet, Stacy and I, mostly Stacy, sent a sample Heritage Tree Program that basically from the city of Wilsonville. And then the other item in the packet came from Les and Betty that also shows a tree nomination form, and then more importantly, the criteria and the information. So I think the first thing we probably should do is discuss which application form we like better. Those are discussion on that.
I'll make a comment on the one that we worked on, Barb.
Mhm.
I took it directly from their website, but the thing I liked about this is they also had this same thing, but you could do it online,
Mhm.
which made it slick. So if you chose to print this and chose to send it in, great. Otherwise, you could just have it all available online.
Which I think is important.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Absolutely. I agree. I think whatever we choose to do, we should have that resource online available. So I'll make just a quick comment on the one that Betty and I put together. And I don't really have a whole lot of pride of ownership. Whatever we feel like is best is great. One thing that I was pleased with is I felt like we got all of the pertinent data on one page rather than having to have two. That's probably the one characteristic that I would recommend.
One.
Now, if it's online, then it's material, but I don't know, Betty, you have any other thoughts on the one we put together?
I thought we just were working on simplicity and trying to get everything on one page. And it's easy to make this something that you can fill in online, so that wouldn't be a problem. But neither one of us, we just wanted this as an example. We don't really care if this is exactly what we use, but
But I believe you took our initial
Yes, we
application and shrunk it down to one size. But is there any piece of information that is on one of the applications that isn't on the other one that anybody can see?
well, the GPS stuff we don't have on ours. When we were talking to the arborist, he did talk about loving the trees to death, and I think we should think about that as we go forward, because if we do GPS coordinates and all that, I don't know how we're going to protect the tree roots and how we're going to protect the trees once they're heritage trees. I think we need to consider those issues that the arborist brought up.
So I wonder if I can see the utility of having GPS coordinates in this application form. That way the arborist can go find the tree. I don't know that necessarily we have to publish that once the tree gets accepted.
Right.
Would you see it that way?
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I was thinking, Betty.
Okay.
It simply wouldn't be public information
Well, everything is public information.
well, okay, but it's not.
Advertised.
Yeah, we don't have to advertise that.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
correction. Yeah. I think the form that Betty and I worked on, we had some more information on the property owner, thinking that we were going to consider trees that were on private property. And I don't see that information on the Wilsonville form but I also understand now that that's probably not where we're going to start. So we're only going to do city property.
Right, but the nomination form, for the first year, we're going to do city property, but the property owner then would be the city. So I mean, I think we can still keep that information on the application. And after the first year, we're going to find out a lot about what deficiencies, if there are any, on the application and make improvements on it.
Sure.
So is everyone on the committee okay to go with Betty and Tessa's application form
Yes.
rather than the Wilsonville one, just because I think they really do ask for the same. And
You guys like this one?
Which is which, Barb? Do you mind if to explain to me which
this is Wilsonville, the first one. And
the Cannon Beach in the corner? Okay.
the second one is so if you're the arborist,
Well, whatever we decide here, whatever template we decide, I would like to run this by my arborist. He can give his input on it.
Right.
And then possibly bring it back to you guys with his input on it and then finalize it.
Okay.
Maybe get him on the Zoom call next Parks meeting
okay,
to discuss any changes that he deems fit.
Makes sense.
Okay, I like it. It's simple. I like it a lot.
Exactly.
okay. So we have a nomination form. We'll run it by the city
I'm
arborist.
gonna send Jeff both these and say that we're looking at option 2
Okay,
here, but so we can compare the two. And then I'll get his input and see if I can get him on the Zoom call or in person next Parks meeting.
okay, great.
You should be able to finalize it at that point.
Okay, then the second part of that packet. Historical values, the cultural values, the age, and botanical information. And we have looked at this before, several months ago. And you guys, Betty and Les, do you guys have anything you want to speak to?
Well,
Do you want to say?
we looked at lots and lots of information of what people are doing around the country. And we synthesized it to these, which would be cost effective for people. I mean, figuring out, anyway, we just thought these would be the most relevant things to look for. I don't know, Les, do you have any other things to add to that?
I was just gonna remind the group that among things that Betty and I had looked at was a study that was done out of the University of Hawaii on heritage trees that looked at a lot of different programs and kind of analyzed what people were doing. And these 5 came out of that study, and the verbiage that you see on the second page and third, I guess, really is just taken from that study. It would probably need to be refined and cleaned up a little bit, but Betty and I didn't want to take anything out of it. We didn't want to filter it too much before the committee members had a chance to see what we were thinking anyway. There is one thing that's not reflected here, though, that I've heard, and that was that we might want to have a list of species. I think the arborist maybe mentioned that when he was in.
Right.
That really isn't reflected, I don't think, in these.
In the
it is,
verbiage.
but anyway, that's something I heard that we might want to add.
And I'll pass this on to Jeff Gearhart also.
Yeah.
He can put his thoughts and ideas into this also.
And I think that's a good idea to have
The species.
kind of a checklist of, what species that tree is. And would that be better on the application?
I think it almost could if it ends up being a fairly simple, you could put some check boxes, easy to interpret.
And I appreciate you trying to keep it to one page, but I would think the majority of people are going to apply online. And so that page, if we have to add a little bit more to a page, I don't think that should be an issue.
We talked about what you mean by applying online. I mean,
I'll pull it up.
like a Google Doc,
I'll show you.
because the way our website's set up,
So there's just a link on there.
so when we do things like this, it would be through Google. It's like, 'cause that's what we do for the short-term rental task force. That information then goes into a spreadsheet, and then it's much harder for you guys to read. So it doesn't, when you pull that data out, when you apply online, it doesn't appear the way it does on the screen. So
So it's not a fillable PDF.
we can do a fillable PDF. We can, and then you can send in the fillable PDF. But if we do like this is where you actually are filling it out online. Because this isn't a PDF that we're looking at.
No, I think I understand what Jen, and it's simply a matter, we don't have the same software packages apparently that Wilsonville does.
Which is much bigger city.
Yeah. And when we've done this, we do this with the short-term rental task force. They have a different program where they can actually click a link and apply directly online. And then their data comes out in a large spreadsheet. So each person has a line and all of their answers just go across in this huge.
Which would not work very well
Yeah.
for us.
So then I have to take it, you kind of manipulate the data to make it a little bit more user friendly. So that way it's easier to read. And then you sent, like I sent it to council. So that way they can see each, it's literally a spreadsheet.
Okay.
And so it's not as, it's user friendly for the person applying. It's not as user friendly for the people reviewing. The other option is the fillable spreadsheet, which we're trying to do with all of our forms where they can fill it out, save it, and then email it.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Is that,
Yeah.
I mean, eventually we'll probably get to more of this one day, which would be great, but just
You
want to make.
fill out a form, scan it, and email it back to city or drop it off.
Yeah, or you don't even have, you can just fill out the
Save-
form and save
Save
it.
it and then it's that way.
I
Okay.
just want to make sure we're
Yeah.
on the same page.
Right. I
Great.
think we are.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the next step then is to have Jeff look at it. And then the next meeting, we should be ready to go forward.
I think so.
Is there any mention in here about where, we talked about not doing any trees in the ECFR because we don't want to attract people up there, you know, because we have the ancient cedars up there, which,
So can we have it within city limits? That,
I would take care of it.
yeah,
Jeff mentioned those because they're the best trees, but they aren't in Cannon Beach.
yeah,
So that would be part of the ordinance then?
right. And that's the part I need some help with because I think initially we had a committee member that was in charge of writing the ordinance. That committee member is no longer part of the committee. But I don't think any of us have the experience to write an ordinance. I think that has to be something we need some help with.
Yeah, and so the first thing I always do when we're working on an ordinance is I check and see what other cities have done.
Well, I think we do that too.
Yeah, copy and paste, but we can help with that,
Okay,
with the whereas clauses, things like that.
right, yeah. I mean, I know how to spell whereas, but that's about it.
I'll get this information to Jeff and
Okay,
should be ready next meeting.
great.
Okay.
Any other?
Would it be appropriate to consider Jan's comment now?
I can speak on that if
The
you'd like.
question of right of way.
When I talk about city right away, I mean city, but I just use that term city right away because that are all city property. So that's, you know, parks is also included in city right of ways. Spruce Reserve, all those areas are,
City property.
yeah,
City property. Everything okay there, Jan?
Yes, great.
See how quick we take care of them?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, anything else?
City property within the
Within the city
city limits.
limits.
And private property.
Well, but the first year, we're just gonna,
Oh, okay, I was paying.
Yeah. and then, but I mean, I think that all the information stuff,
this gets us started. We start looking at it.
I think so, yeah.
I'm saying,
yeah. And then the second year, we can see what we need to change and if we need to change anything and then open it up to.
oh yeah, I mean, be a work in progress.
Sure.
Something new takes some time.
I was wondering if the Parks Committee could be one of the first applicants and nominate heritage trees as kind of a, we starting the program and that as a committee that.
Well, we are the part of, I mean.
Right,
we're
but
the
if we-
Committee too, but,
Right.
right, if we would submit.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it myself, but I was thinking that the Parks Committee, that all of us could be one of the first applicants to designate an area or tree.
And I think Trevor had a couple in mind too.
Right.
That would, but
Yeah.
So I think we've had some thoughts.
Right.
Many people have had thoughts on some initial trees.
Right.
Yeah.
Although-
Yeah.
But I think, yeah.
I mean, I just think it would be a nice, yeah.
Do something like that. That's great.
I'm gonna make a suggestion out of line about my favorite heritage tree, and that would be a short pine next to the playground downtown that's wedged between the playground and the tennis court. It's only about 20 feet high, but 17,000 children have climbed that tree. It's the
Best tree ever.
most popular element of the playground is
Right.
Yeah.
freaking little tree that I'm always pruning.
Yeah.
So that would be cultural value.
Thanks, man, for backing.
And historical.
Yeah, well. That's,
Have you climbed the tree too?
Mhm.
Huh?
Have you climbed it?
Oh, yeah, all the time. You can stick your head out the top. The kids, the way you can climb it now, you can, 8-year-old boys, they got their shoulders and above out there, doing all, it's pretty cool. There's 10 kids on there at one time,
It's the best tree ever.
Can I ask just one more question? So I understand, so we're headed down a path that we're gonna have a forum to solicit input. That's great. I'm still not quite sure what we expect from the city arborist. I mean, have we really gotten feedback or talked about what exactly is he going to do when he receives a nominated tree?
I think he's going to evaluate it in terms of the health and the condition, whether it meets the criteria.
Jeff and I spoke about this, so we evaluated a tree the other day and we were driving around, we spoke about that, I'll be receiving this information and taking a look at it. And I'll be the first one that gets eyes on it and talk with the customer and figure out which tree it is. at that point, I'll probably take some pictures or FaceTime Jeff so he can just get a visual. And that'll be his determination is, okay, I'm coming out right now, or I'll come out in a week.
Okay.
Or we'll save it for the next inspections that we do in town to be cautious of his time, when he comes down here. So that's kind of what we're talking about.
I guess I was more thinking about, okay, when he looks at the tree, what are the two or three or whatever it is, things that either, or could potentially knock it off of the list.
So one of them is species, because he talked about native species to
Right.
start off with.
So if it's not as, okay, I can get that.
Well, if it's gonna die in a year, you don't want.
Some health thing
That's
that
gonna be helpful.
that comes.
We also
on.
talked about maybe this tree is not quite a heritage tree, but it's gonna put our eyes on it to say, maybe we can do some trimming in this area to expose this tree and give it some good energy to become that heritage tree. So maybe not every tree is gonna be a heritage tree right off the bat, but it might open our eyes like, hey, we could do some work in this area and expose some more sunlight in here or whatever to make this tree eventually get to that step. So
it's promoting the health of the tree.
Right.
It might not get nominated.
might have to go up and climb a tree and remove a lot of the dead stuff and just get the tree back up and going.
Okay.
So.
I think that's a great part of what this program could be. I'd never really had that described to me.
Depending on how many applications we receive, I can imagine we're gonna get flooded right at the beginning.
Yeah, sure.
We gotta be cautious with our time. I can't react quickly. I'll do my best, but I gotta be cautious of his time and, our budget on Jeff. Yeah. So.
Thank you.
Any other committee members have any questions or comments? Okay, thanks to everybody's hard work. And we look forward to
Oh, for sure.
the input for
It's fun.
the expert. Okay, next we have the Cola Creek Reserve update.
We talked last time about possibly doing another tour with Barry. Contacted Barry to see when he's available. He's available after July 5th through July 20th. So if you guys want to do another tour, I'd like at least 3 to 4 dates and times that I can pass on to him.
So do we know whether the road has been cleared?
When I called Greenwood,
Yeah,
they were gonna get right on it.
okay.
They were kind of shocked it was in that condition,
Mm.
so. And when I fill out the permit, I'll verify that everything's up and running.
Okay. So the 5th, the 20th, and I think we've determined that Mondays are,
28th,
28th, okay. That Mondays are our best day to do it in terms of work schedules. Is that true, Anita?
I can adjust my schedule. Yeah.
Okay. So would not be available on the 25th in July, if we did that, but I would be on the 11th and the 18th. Anybody else have? Betty, you doing any traveling?
No, I'm going to be in town, but the 11th really works for me too. So I can do the others too, but that one works for me.
11th.
So for me, the 11th is best, but I could do the 18th after the farmer's market meeting. It starts at 10:30.
We have the coffee with counselors that day too.
On the 11th?
On the 18th.
Oh, on the 18th.
18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like the 11th is the better day. Amy, hi.
Hey, the 11th works great for me. If that's of any interest.
Okay. So we want to shoot for,
So the 11th is fine with me as well. So that's,
okay,
but for Trevor's purpose, he needs a couple of options.
so the 11th at what time?
That would be the preferred date.
Because we got to call a meeting, right?
right.
Yep. And council chambers are available the entire day, so.
So 10 o'clock on the 11th, give Barry time to get down here.
What time we did the last time?
Right, be our first option.
Shoot for 10 a.m. on the 11th?
Right.
Give me another one.
And then if do it on the 18th, it would have to be, well, the 18th seems problematic because you have a farmer's market meeting. And then there's coffee with counselors, which is, what time is that?
10 to 11.
10
to 11.
Oh,
What
10
time
to
is your
11.
farmer's market meeting?
Well, I have it down at 10:30.
I'm gonna check in with somebody because I don't see it in the council chambers, so.
But
You guys,
maybe I wrote it down wrong, but that's what I have down. Always subject to change.
Yeah, and she could have put it in the conference.
your meetings,
They're usually in at 45 minutes.
okay.
for now.
So we could go 11:30 on the 18th. That's our second option.
The 18th at 11:30.
Second option would be our.
Just to clear a copy with the councilors.
How are we going to be notified what date works if we're,
Through email.
okay,
When Barry gives me an answer.
okay, all right.
Okay,
I would like to keep the tour with just the committee members only, okay? Because I can't have too many vehicles driving around up in there. Okay?
okay,
So is everyone gonna be there?
I am.
right.
I am.
Yes.
So now we're a 6-member committee again. And then we'll have our tour guides.
And I think Bruce did a great job of
Bruce did a great job driving.
staying out of the ditches.
Good job, Bruce.
Not easy.
I was a little worried about it.
And I don't know about fire danger, but that's something we gotta think about. When,
Right.
if they shut down, it's game over
Very
till.
understandable, yeah.
I think it's pretty wet.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Had a little rain.
Just a little, huh?
Okay, good.
I've got an ACR thing. Thanks to Trevor and the city, we've got a pile of wood chips now out at the Blackberry site.
Okay,
Briefly, what we need to do is see who would be interested in going up there here in the near term to do our second round of pulling any things that have sprouted since we did the first big cleaning. And then we put the chips to cover open areas that we know are the most likely places for blackberry to sprout.
okay.
So
You-
we don't have to schedule that today, but that, now that we've got chips, you should probably go ahead and take advantage of it.
Would it be easy? I mean, we're not gonna see each other again for, until our field trip. Is it something we should do within the next couple of weeks?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. You want to throw out some suggestions?
Uh,
It was Sunday.
Well, we
Did we
did
do
the
Sunday
first
last
meeting on a Sunday. Is that, we could do this coming Sunday after lunch, whatever time. I don't recall what time we started before.
It's Father's Day this Sunday. I don't know if that would impact anybody.
We'll celebrate.
It's not gonna, this could be my celebration.
Could we do
Right.
could we do the 25th? Just because I'm not sure I'm going to be out of quarantine by then.
You mean 26th? I'm not available on the 26th.
Okay, okay.
And I
Okay,
think we want to stay away from 4th of July weekend.
yeah.
You'll still be in quarantine this Sunday?
I don't know. I'm still testing positive and I
Okay.
still have symptoms, so I don't know. Oh,
So
shoot.
how about July 10th? The
That
day
works.
before our possible field trip.
That works for me.
We do it early in the day. I'm okay.
Yeah.
So 10 o'clock on the 10th?
On the 10th.
Is that okay with you, Kirk? But Sunday, you're in charge, so
Whatever you guys want to do.
basically we'll just get the tools from you like
Okay.
before. That seemed to work out good.
Different tool.
Are the chips already there?
I believe so.
Yeah, but I don't have it I only have one wheelbarrow and you might want to, if anybody has a wheelbarrow, I guess, you got to move those chips and then,
Yeah.
I like to move chips with forks rather than shovels if you
Right.
forks.
That's right. Yeah, I've got some for.
Right.
Something.
You have a wheelbarrow, a small one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying I can provide one.
Okay. I think between, well, actually, one would work because we're not gonna,
Yeah, no, hopefully this won't turn into more of a
Okay.
process
What
that
time was it again? I'm sorry, it was July 10th.
July
Yeah.
10th.
worked for everybody. And we'll get up there and
At noon? What time?
I think we said 10,
10.
11, 12.
Oh, it's 10, sorry.
Right, go-
10 on July 10th.
right.
Yeah,
Is that a good time for you?
well, I'm getting a kind of a weird schedule the first 2 weeks of July because my granddaughters are coming out for weeks.
Excellent.
I haven't seen since Christmas, and so I'm gonna have kind of a weird in and out type of thing, but I'll take care of this. They're gonna be here too. They'll be fine.
You want us to do it a little later, like you want 11?
No,
Better.
no. If it's a Sunday, I'll probably be working because I gotta get 3 guys to cover for me if I don't work on Sundays.
To
Do the work of 3 on Sunday.
Not surprised.
Yeah, okay, so we'll have a work party at the ECFR on July 10th at 10 a.m. Probably a couple hours until noon.
Oh, yeah, I think
That'll be fine. I'll just drop stuff off and then.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up later. I'll give you plenty of time.
Okay, sounds good. So anything else on the ECFR? Okay, community grants. So we have received the final numbers. And I think the first thing that we need to do is at our work session, by consensus, that we were going to eliminate turtles forever from our grant cycle this year because they are receiving $10,000 if the budget is approved as is. And so I think we need a motion and a vote on that process.
Not just on the whole.
I think we need to do both of those. That's separate
Okay,
motions.
so. We could start with a motion to, I'm not sure what the right word is, but decline to fund Sea Turtles Forever because they have received city funding. Is that kind of how you would see that?
Right. But I also think though that the motion needs to reflect that that's going to be something in the future too, that if a nonprofit goes through the city budget to request funds, that they not be eligible for a community grant that year.
so should that be 2 separate motions then? Like to have sea turtles we decline to fund them this year because they're receiving funds from the city. Vote on that and then say, and in the future, a motion to,
Or sea turtles became ineligible for a grant through the Parks Committee due to the fact that they were a line item budget on the city. Which I'm not sure how that happened, but
Right, and that's not,
yeah.
shouldn't be part of our discussion.
so the idea of the 2 motions.
Okay,
Because here we're sea turtles, you've already applied, we're saying no, and in the future, nobody else is going to either.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so would someone like to make the first motion? Eliminate the sea turtles for this year.
So I will make the motion that for the fiscal year 2022, 2023 community grants, that we decline to fund Sea Turtles Forever because they have received line item funding from the city.
I kind of like the word ineligible, that they became ineligible for a grant through the Parks Committee because of being on the city.
But they're,
So that kind of speaks to any other organization that would come before us, that they would be
But that's-
ineligible.
but that's why we're gonna go with 2 motions
Okay.
because Sea Turtles Forever didn't know when they applied for the grant that they would become ineligible.
Okay,
So I think
So,
Les's wording is better.
okay.
It's just, that's my opinion.
Agree.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Jen, did you get enough of that?
Yep.
Okay. Any more discussion?
No,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Okay, so motion passes.
Did Amy vote?
She probably shouldn't because she hasn't been involved in any of
Oh,
that. Next meeting, Amy, we're gonna expect you to be being in
I'm,
motioning.
I'm taking it all in. I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys tell me when I need to step up.
We will.
yeah.
Betty, did you?
I don't know Amy, I'm sorry. I didn't know Amy was on our committee, so I just,
She's just recently been approved.
okay, great.
Tuesday,
Welcome.
no, a couple weeks ago.
Hi, Betty. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Amy.
Yeah. Okay, second motion. Oh, we voted, right? Okay, good. Okay,
I guess we got to play with this one then.
yeah,
well, so this is where Anita's
Ineligible.
Right.
ineligible would, I think, come into play.
so in future years, nonprofits that receive a line item,
Just any organization that is included in the city budget is ineligible for community grant funds.
any nonprofit organization.
Mhm.
So make that motion.
I make a motion to exclude any nonprofit organization from receiving community grant funding.
That,
If
If they are part of the city general budget.
they're a line item in the city's
Okay,
That's the way-
budget,
okay.
okay. Did you get that, Jim? Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion? Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay,
so should we explain to Amy what that was about so she understands?
I thought I would do that outside of the meeting, if that's okay.
Sure, of course.
We'll get together, Amy, and I'll talk to you about the grant process and get you up to speed on it.
That sounds great. Thanks.
Okay. And then the next thing is to accept the recommendations, the average recommendations of the committee to send it to city council for final approval. And I really think having that extra meeting made a big difference
Fantastic.
in the process. So I think we're headed in the right direction. And
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any items that anybody wants to discuss with the final averages.
Well, I just get kind of funny about when I see 52 cents or 73 cents when everything else is,
Well, some of it's,
well, I understand that it's percentage and that's how some committee members are distributing, but it just seems silly to me.
they're just numbers.
I know, but it just seems like when everything else is just, yeah, that's
Well,
all. That's all. Fine.
Yeah, and I think it's fine as well. I was going to make the comment that no matter whether all of us had done even numbers, when we averaged it, they were going to calculate out
Right.
in census anyway, so.
Right.
Well, yeah, and I understand too, that if you round up or round down, that it's gonna
Right.
influence the,
Right. And we have to stick with the 90,000
right,
for this year.
right.
So that happens.
Well, and then hopefully the organizations understand that that's how come they
Yeah, I
they
think
got 73 cents or 52
they're
cents.
pretty much used to that.
Okay,
That would-
okay,
This isn't the
That's the bet.
okay.
And I think what we really need to work on before next year's process is how we can convey in the application that we have limited funds with a number of organizations and we did put some new wording in it this year it didn't make a difference with a couple organizations.
I
Some,
mean, with the amounts that they're asking
Right.
for.
so,
Yeah, well, that's where it seemed like they just went all in, you know, just seeing
Yeah.
what they got.
so we got to work on that. But right now, I'm waiting for a motion for final approval.
I make a motion to approve the final numbers for the community grant requests.
I second.
Okay, any, Betty,
Oh,
did you want to say something?
no, I'm sorry. I was
Oh,
gonna
okay.
second also.
Okay, you kind of, oh, good. So no more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passed. Thanks to the committee
Jen.
for that. And then what city council meeting will this
So
go
this
to?
will go on the July 12th work session.
Okay,
So we'll need a member present,
okay,
in case council has any questions, and then they will vote on it to adopt it at the August 2nd meeting.
okay.
And then when do checks normally go out in September?
I usually, typically after they make the motion, we start prepping everything and getting it ready to go, and then it goes normally on the next check run. So I guess this would be a time, are we,
Hoping to have a potluck?
yeah, what's our plan with that? Because the last year that we were having potlucks, I mean, this is going back pre-COVID, we had talked about not mailing checks and actually handing them out at the potluck to make it more, well, to encourage more people to attend the potluck. So I guess, I mean, we do have some time to think about it. And then potlucks during COVID,
I know.
maybe we just do a community ceremony here. So it's up to you. Like to.
And we don't have to make a decision today. I mean, I would love to have everything back. We've done it in the past, but I'm hesitant to have a potluck. I mean, I would love to have a ceremony.
And the potluck has to be different now, right? We can't have everybody bring, is that how it works now?
Well, technically, we were never supposed to have a community potluck the way we've done in the past anyways, because of food handlers. And so if you do have a potluck, people have to bring prepackaged foods. Nobody can prepare anything themselves. It has to be sold.
Defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I would say we're probably going to lean towards having a ceremony, a community grant ceremony.
And we could, even maybe get a cake from Costco or something,
Yeah. That's something. I always have to have food. We're giving them money.
Food's always good though.
Yeah.
But I like Costco cake, and so I'm
Bruce?
For an event like that, we need to find some time for, to purchase like they have, because it is a special.
Okay,
I think that's appropriate. We can make that happen.
okay.
Yes.
So we'll talk.
I am disappointed that we can't do the.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
And to
So we'll kind of formalize that at the next meeting.
Yep.
Think about what we want to do. And
Is it held at the chamber?
yeah, that's where it's been in the previous years.
Mhm.
Right. And the mayor
Mhm.
helps with handing out the checks. And it's usually, I think it's a great night just because you're giving money, but also it gives a chance for the community to hear a little bit. We give each
Mhm.
organization about 3 minutes to present their program to the community. And so it's an educational awareness
Mhm.
event too,
Mhm.
and it's a celebration. Yeah, so,
Well, I like the idea that Bruce offered, to provide some sort of nibbling or beverage or something. You can open the doors at the chamber and have some good ventilation going on.
Right. Yeah.
So, Yeah.
okay, so be thinking about that for the next month's meeting.
And if the never stops raining, we could even be outside.
there we go.
Okay, and then next on the agenda, we have the 12 days of Earth Day, and just want to remind the committee members that at the next meeting in July, we're going to expect that each person that was in charge of an event kind of has their guideline as to what they did. Like one of my charges was to organize the tree planting event. So you number one, contact the school to get a date. No, number one, contact Trevor to find the perfect location and the number of trees and, just kind of it can be in paragraph form or, step by step what you do so that in future years, if someone hasn't done the event before, they will have some guidelines. I mean, we have the city's packet, but that doesn't give us step-by-step directions. So we're very clear with what we expect you to have. I did have a chance to visit with the business owner that was upset about the street fair, and she had some valid points. And I told her that. I told her that my dream was always to have the street fair at the Nakus Park, and when that's finished. And she would like us to kind of look at some other locations. She thinks Second Street's kind of picked on for other things in the past. So one of the things I was thinking about is to make the parade a little bit longer. Even the American Legion parking lot on a Saturday at 11 a.m. is empty. And it's just a wild thought. And so our parade could go from Beaver Street to the American Legion and have the street fair in the American Legion parking lot, just as a possibility. Just something to throw
I
out.
thought we discussed the fact that Second Street brought a lot more people
It
to
does.
the street fair.
Right.
I don't know if you could share what this business owner's valid points were for not.
She
Holding
just
it
felt
there.
that Second Street is always the one that's selected, and that she would like us to look at alternatives.
Did she feel that it impacted her business
Yes.
because people didn't come in because of the street fair?
And she felt pretty strongly about that. And she said that she had talked to other business owners that felt the same way. And I did not go talk to the other business owners.
Huh.
And I just said, each year we look at everything that we do, we evaluate it. And if there are
Well,
other,
it sounds like something maybe she should bring up with the city if she doesn't want Second Street used for any events.
she would have that,
Yeah.
that option. I just said as a committee that we look and evaluate everything that we do. Betty?
I had a thought the other day, because we have events on the beach itself. I was thinking, what if we use the area, either the street that's going to the haystack entrance, or somehow connect, like you're saying the American Legion, but what about that street, Gower Street, or because
Close off
it's,
Gower.
Oh, close up
Yeah.
now.
yeah, because
We got
then you can
emergency
say,
vehicle issue.
A block.
You got emergency
Oh.
vehicle issue down Gower. You have to keep
Oh,
the access open.
That time of year, there's quite a bit of materials on Gower. Tides are still coming in.
What if we moved it up a block? So it's not between Spruce and Hemlock, but it's,
Closer to the beach.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the end even.
because,
Right.
yeah, at the end
Yeah.
here, because that way you'll still get the people, and maybe if that would be okay to close off that.
Kind of
Access.
off the driveways into the businesses.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, I mean, it's more
Yeah.
hotels and
Yeah.
The hotel on the
Argonada.
south side of that location, that's their exit out of their hotel, their business.
Land's End?
Forget the name.
Well, we have a long time to talk about it. So just.
Yeah, well, we certainly wouldn't block anybody's driveway.
And we only have to wait till 2023 and use Nakus.
So just.
There we go.
My observation, having been around on the weekends a lot for many years, is I want to refer to the American Legion parking lot. First of all, it is totally empty and they just let you use it. But we talk about foot traffic and attracting people. The amount of activity in Midtown has dramatically increased over the years.
Right.
I think people's computers tell them to come to Cannon Beach down Sunset instead of the north entrance.
I think so too.
This parking lot fills up faster than downtown parking lot. I mean, as far as people around, I don't know how many times I've been stopped out here and people ask me, we thought there was more shopping in Cannon Beach. We thought it was bigger than this.
Right. Yeah.
They were stuck in Midtown and that's it.
Right.
I always tell them, no, let's not get out of here. But anyway, I mean, my point is, in the last 10 years, Midtown has really, whether it's good or bad is not my point. It's just that you're gonna have some bodies around here. If it was at the Legion, you have a longer parade and it would be,
I think the Legion's a good option as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. So just be thinking of
Okay.
this. Amy, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just had a thought as a participant of the most recent event. If it was going to be moved, I love the idea of it being in one of those parking lots. My only consideration would be for food options, because that was a huge part of it for my family. When the parade was over, we then had lunch at Ecola outside and sat down and joined friends that were, we ran into casually. And that's, I would love if it was going to be at another location at a parking lot for there to be food carts or something that was really easy.
Louis gonna love it.
Have lunch.
Right, the hardware store is right
Yeah.
across the street. But
There's
again,
Pelican.
that's,
Yeah.
we're in the brainstorming stage and we'll, be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Point, I think.
Yeah.
okay. Anything else on 12 days? So next we have good of the order. Anybody have anything for good of the order?
There were 2 trees cut down at Addison, Bruce, thinking by the same guy that did the reserve. Were those to be,
They were dead. Just evaluated months ago.
Yeah.
We made some little birdhouses at the top.
I noticed that, yeah.
We laid the trees down adjacent to the trail so those trees can come.
Nurse logs, yeah.
Okay, anything else? Betty, Amy?
No, good.
Okay. Next time we'll be together is July 10th at 10 a.m. in the reserve. Right? Yeah, that's me. Okay. Okay, meeting's adjourned.
Hopefully, yeah.
The 10th.
Barry.
No, that one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. The Kirk.
Right.
Turkey, we'll be here with Turkey. Okay, meeting's adjourned.